Hello, thank you for joining me for this Not Quite Live Facebook. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia. As I said to you last Sunday, I'm going to be away this weekend, so my live is going to be a pre-recorded, not quite live. I'm away at a craft retreat, and when we go away we always make little gifts for each other. So there are the pillow gifts if you want to run around and sneak them onto everybody's pillows, or table gifts if you want to just put them down in everybody's workspace. Now I'm making table gifts, and let's show you what I've done. In this video I'm going to show you how to make these. So they are just little notepads, and some of them actually, I bought two different pads without realizing. Some are lined, some aren't lined, so I'm not going to tell anybody, and they'll just have to be surprised with whatever they get. Hopefully whoever gets the unlined ones can write straight, because I can't usually, but that's okay. Now there are no precise measurements for these, so here's my very professionally written notes. Take the size of your notepad, so here it's 125 by 200 millimeters, so 12.5 by 20 centimeters. Take the width of it times by 2 and add a centimeter. Okay, so that's going to make it 26.5. Sorry, is my brain working right? 25, so it should be, yeah, okay. No, don't add a centimeter. Add 1.5 centimeters. Okay, so we're going to make it 26.5 and by 20.5. And then if we're working in inches, you're going to add half an inch to double your width plus half an inch, and your mat is going to be plus, okay, not doing well talking. Your length is going to be plus 1/4 of an inch. And then when you're taking your base, so here I've got mine that it's going to be 13 centimeters. You'll see when we do it, but it's going to be 13 centimeters across like that. So my mat's going to be 1/2 centimeter smaller, so 12.5 by 20.5, and then the DSP is going to be 12 by 19.5. And if you're working in inches, you're just going to drop that by 1/4 of an inch every time. Now I have actually done some scoring because I wanted to check it was right before I went and started recording. So all that I'm going to do here is I'm going to score this at 13 centimeters. Okay, so 13 centimeters, and then flip it over and score it at 13 centimeters on the other side. And then we're just going to fold and burnish along those score lines. So that's giving me quite a narrow little piece, but that's where my notebook's going to fit into. Okay. And then we want another piece of cardstock, which is going to be that bit there that's going to cover that and then hold my notebook in place. So with that one, I've taken it the length of my notepad, so 12 centimeters or 12.5 centimeters, and let's just check. Yes, I suddenly thought, have I cut this to 12? And I've cut that to 5.5 centimeters. So if you're working in inches, it's going to be your length plus 2.25 inches, and we're just going to score that at 2.5 centimeters, but I don't want to cut, so. And again, you could flip it around and score 2.5 centimeters on the other side, but this time it's easy. I'm just going to score that at 3. And if that looked confusing, and hopefully I actually had that on camera, for whatever reason, when I'm scoring little bits like that, I use these measurements on the other side of the track. So that was where that 2.5 and 3 came in. And we're going to do the same thing, just give those a good press along those folds. Doesn't look like I scored it very well because it doesn't want to fold, but there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to just grab my little notebook and I'm putting glue on, I won't throw things on both sides over here. Okay, so I'm not putting any glue in the top score, but that doesn't matter. And we're just going to put that onto our notepad so the sides should be lined up, and press it down so that it's sitting right in those score lines. Okay. And then I'm going to just glue the back, and that's going into my base or my notebook cover or whatever we want to call it. And again, so I'm sort of lining it up between the top and the bottom, that it's got a little bit of space on both, kind of equidistant, and then pushing it in so that the side of the notebook is right against that score line over there. And then from there, it's just a matter of decorating. Now, this, if it looks like it's strange, it is slightly smaller than the measurements that I gave you earlier, but that's just because I've adjusted it to fit with this piece of DSP that I had. So this was a bit smaller than what I needed, so I've cut things down that I've got a bit of a bigger border around everywhere. But you can play with that or just go the standard 1/2 centimeter that we would usually use. And I'm using the Simply Zinnia DSP just because it is being retired, but it is pretty, so I just figured I would use it while at this moment it's still current. But have fun, use up whatever DSP you've got, and obviously you can have your mattes and your bases just matching colors as you go. So we're going to stick that on, and then I'm using this Just a Note sentiment from the Simply Said, just because I thought that actually goes nicely with it. Now what I've got is, I've got a circle from My Stylish Shapes, and My Stylish Shapes dies are all over the show, so don't judge me. That is the sort of second smallest circle die, and my mat is from the Spotlight on Nature. These sit a little bit better, they haven't been used as much, so they're not quite as unsticky, and I'm using that third smallest die there. Okay, so all that I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment onto the circle, and I'm sure by now you know that I love stamping on circles, just because it doesn't matter how I stamp it, you just turn the circle to make it straight. The only thing you need to worry about is that it's sort of in the middle. But that's all the stamping that I'm doing. Now obviously here you can have fun, you can just go and decorate your notebooks however you like. And I just smudged. Okay, we may need to, how did I get ink all over everywhere? Okay, that's just staying, it's alright. Then the one other thing that we need is an insert. Now this is just, doesn't have to be there, but just nice. It's an extra little flap, so you know you can put any little notes, or you know, if you've got stamps or something. Now obviously here I just cut out a bit of a circle, and I've just realized that I don't have my circle punch with me, so I do have this one, which is the heartfelt hexagons, and I hope that you're not getting too much noise coming through. They're busy redoing the bathroom next door, and so they have been making a bit of noise, but I thought that it was quiet, and now it sounds like they're busy grinding or doing something again, so hopefully that's not too disturbing. And what we're going to do is take some tear and tape. Now that looks a bit strange, but anyway, what I'm going to do is just cut that straight so that it's, I mean, you just want to ding so that you can get inside a bit easier, but maybe that's just a bit of a weird edge over there, so we'll just cut off the pointy bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to put my tear and tape along the edges. So seems like even when I'm doing Facebook not quite lives, there always has to be something that doesn't make it here, and that tore pretty badly. Guess that's the one thing I cannot control, when they decide to make a noise outside. So, sorry about this, hopefully it's not too distracting. Okay, now the size of this, it's the same length as my notebook, so that's that 20.5 centimeters, and I've just made it 7 centimeters wide. There's no good reason for the 7 centimeters. It just is a number that I decided to use. Okay, and that's going to fit in exactly along those 3 edges. Now I've cut out some of the flowers from the DSP, so we're just going to see, and you can see I'm on like the scraps of these flowers over here. So I just want to see how we're going to get them to not be so obvious that I've used the very edges, but hey, that's okay. You can use the edges if you can hide them. Don't waste those flowers, they can still be used. I'm going to cut off this leaf. It's disturbing you with those 2 leaves together, so that's just going to come off, and then we should work much better. Yes. Alright, so just going to stick this flower onto the edge there. And decide how you want those flowers orientated. Some dimensionals, and I'm using up the ends of the dimensionals. I think that we really just need one piece behind there, and then we're going to stick on our little note. And of course we just need some bling because we need bling on everything. So I'm going to use some of the pink this time and just a few little pink dots around. Oops. There we go. I think I will go and restamp that and just stick it over that it doesn't have smudges, but that's okay. I can get that done easily enough. So there we go. All that I need to do now is attach my pen, and here are some of my other designs. Like I said, it's all out of that same DSP pack, so I'll let you know how it goes if everybody liked their little notepads. And I will be back in person next week. So until then, have a good week, and I will see you then. Bye for now.